let's understand the process of micturition, other excretory organs and disorders. Now, the first thing we understand is micturition. So, micturition is the release of urine from the body, and this occurs through the control system, which is through the nervous system and the central nervous system. Since I say it is controlled, that means it is voluntary in nature and occurs through the urinary sphincter. Now, the urine that is released has a distinct odor, has a pH around 6.0, that means it is acidic, and urine which is around 1.5 liters per day of excretion that takes place, of which around 25 to 30 grams of urea is present as the byproduct. So this is the various studies that we see here. Now coming on to other excretory organs which are important to understand. So within the other excretory organs besides kidney, there are lungs, skin and sweat glands. So when we talk about lungs, the lungs filter the carbon dioxide and provide us fresh oxygen. When it comes to kidney, it filters and eliminates the nitrogenous waste. One of the very interesting findings you would know is about saliva. Saliva also has a capability to eliminate little of nitrogenous waste. However, if the kidneys do not function properly, there are various disorders associated to those, which we would understand in a while. And let's say a person is suffering from diabetes mellitus. In that case, within the kidneys there would be presence of glucose and ketones in urea. When there is glucose in urea, we call it glycosouria, and when there is ketones in urea, we call it as ketonuria. Now, as we said, lungs as one of the excretory systems, excretory organs, then kidneys as one of the excretory organs. We also have liver as one of the excretory organs. Now, what does liver eliminate? Liver secretes bilirubin, biliverdin, cholesterol, and then you have steroids, vitamins and drugs. Then you have the skin. Through the skin, we have the sweat glands. Now, this sweat glands releases water along with sodium chloride, urea in small proportion, and then lactic acid, specifically when there is lot of exercise that takes place. This helps to cool the body and remove the waste from the body. Also with the skin, we have the sebaceous glands. Now these sebaceous glands are the oil glands. They eliminate sterols, hydrocarbons, waxes through the sebum which is produced, which is the oily covering for the skin. So sebum is also eliminated. So those are the various eliminations that takes place from the body, the various organs associated with elimination. The most important is, as we said, kidneys, lungs, then you have liver, skin and sweat glands, and the sebaceous glands that are seen. However, as we know, there are disorders associated with kidneys. Now the disorder is first of all understood if there is presence of urea in the blood. If there is presence of urea in the blood, this condition is known as uremia. This condition can lead to kidney failure, and there is the process of hemodialysis that takes place, which is an artificial kidney. Now how does it happen? A person is basically connected, the arteries are connected and the blood is drained from the body. Now when the blood is drained from the body, it is important that it should not coagulate. So anticoagulant agents like heparin is given to the patient, okay, and then this heparin, with the help of this heparin, the blood is drained. Now this blood which is drained enters into a selectively permeable membrane where there is dialyzing fluid or dialyzing solution that surrounds the blood that moves in. Now important to note that this blood, this dialyzing fluid does not have nitrogenous waste. Since it does not have nitrogenous waste, it allows the blood to get clear, and finally the cleared blood is moved through the vein back into the body of the patient, by adding anti-heparin agents. So first we added the heparin so that there is no coagulation of the blood and the blood is easily able to flow through the hemodialysis system. And finally, when it is to be entered into the body of patient, again anti-heparin is given so that the process of normal blood coagulation that occurs in human body can take place. However, in extreme cases, if there is a kidney failure, the only way is transplantation. Now, transplantation can be accepted from a donor which is one of the closest relative in order to reduce or minimize the chances of immune system rejection. And therefore, kidney transplants, which is a highly complicated process, is most successful with close relatives. So that is one of the disorders. We call it condition of uremia, which in severe cases can lead to kidney failure and in extreme cases could require transplantation. Then we have the next important disorder associated with kidneys, which is common and called as the renal calculi. Renal calculi implies there is present of stones or calculus in the kidney, and these calculus are nothing but oxalates. The last important disorder that we would understand is glomerulonephritis. Glomerulonephritis is the term itis, wherever it is connected, it talks about inflammation. So there is inflammation of glomeruli within the nephrons in the kidney. As we have understood the structure of kidney is composed of millions of nephrons, and each nephron has a renal capsule, which is the glomerulus fitted within the Bowman's capsule, and this glomerulus, when inflamed, is a condition which is known as glomerulonephritis. So those are some of the major disorders that we have understood associated with excretory system. We would be covering many more interesting lectures for you. Have a good day.